Hey, first graders, happy Thursday. So far in math this week, you've been working on tens and ones and adding and subtracting groups of 10 from a number. So when you're on iReady, you are so lucky because they have those cute little cubers for you to help you so you know if you're adding or subtracting tens and ones. The problem is, what if you're not on iReady and you need help solving an equation and those cubers aren't there for you? Well, I'm going to tell you. So I actually made some little cubers just to show you the difference between tens and ones. So I'm going to bring my computer up to the wall so you can see their sweet little smiles. And we're going to count how many cubers we are here. And each of these cubers is one. So we're going to count by ones. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fantastic. The reason we stopped at 9 is because when we get to 10 cubers, we no longer have ones. Our cubers are then a group of 10. See, we have our 10 sticks here. So when we have groups of 10, we don't count by one. That would take a long time. Instead, we know this is 10, so we can count each of our groups of 10 together by 10. So this is one group of 10, two groups of 10, three groups of 10, four groups of 10, 5 groups of 10, 6 groups of 10, 7 groups of 10, 8 groups of 10, 9 groups of 10, and 10 groups of 10. So when we count our groups of 10 cubers, we're going to count by tens. Can you help me? Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So you can see when we have our ones cubers and our tens cubers, they're not the same thing. So this, probably not all that surprisingly, took me a long time to do. And sometimes, yeah, it's great to use manipulatives and it's great to have materials to help you, but what if you don't have the materials you need? I know. I have an answer. So, bear with me with my makeshift little classroom here. Can you see that? I hope that's not backwards. So, today, we are learning to add or subtract groups of 10 from a 2-digit number. So, you've already added groups of 10. You've already subtracted groups of 10 using your cubers on iReady. But it's not always you add or subtract. Sometimes you have to be a detective. And when you're a detective, you have to decide, should I add or should I subtract? So you really have to be focused so you know what to do. Here's how you can know what to do. If you add, there's a plus sign in your equation. When there's a plus sign in your equation, that means you're going to take the two numbers you have and combine them together or put them together. So I did just a small little baby equation here for you. So we have 3 plus sign 2 equals. So since there's that plus sign, I know I'm going to add. So I'm going to put the number together. So I'll just draw 3 circles really quick since I don't have my cubers anymore. And then 2 more, and I'm going to combine them together. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. But sometimes you subtract. And when you subtract, there's this minus sign here for you. And when you subtract, when there's the minus sign, you take away from a number. So you start with one number, and instead of putting more to it, you're taking away from the first number. I'll show you. So here we have 7 minus, or take away, 2 equals blank. So I'm going to draw my 7, because with subtraction you always start with the biggest number. Let me make sure I didn't make a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And now I'm going to take away 2. So I'm going to get rid of 2 of them. 1, 2. And that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now my numbers here, I did little circles because it's 1. I was dealing with ones. Just like our ones here. But we're past that. We want to be really working with those, come here guy, groups of 10 cubers. So that's where we're headed next. So now, if you look here, we have 30 plus 20. That's different than 3 plus 2 because we're dealing with groups of 10. 30 is 3 groups of 10, 10, 20, 30, plus 2 groups of 10, 10, 20. So if I were to count, oh, I know what you're wondering. Kiddos, you probably know why I just drew those lines, but parents, you don't. So let me back up. If you don't have 10 sticks at home or your very own homemade cubers to make groups of 10, it can get really, really confusing when you're drawing a picture. Because of that, what we do in first grade is we draw lines. So those lines represent this straight line down. Instead of trying to make the individual cubes, you know this is a 10 stick, this one's straight line down because it's just like our 10 stick here. Then, instead of doing individual cubes, if you draw your little circles, I lost my, oh here he is. It's the same as 1 cube. So your little circles represent one cuber, and your 10 stick that you draw the straight line down represents your 10 stick here. So that's why I did that. So you can tell the difference. So if I count, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50, I have to be careful. I'm going to put a 5 and a 0. The 5 represents 5 tens, and the 0 represents no ones. Might make more sense on our next equation. Okay, let's look at the next one. 25 plus 40. So I'm going to do 25. So 25 has 2 tens, 10, 20. I need to move on to my ones. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. See that? Okay, then I'm adding 25 plus 40. And I know it's plus. I know I'm adding because I have this plus sign and I'm a detective and I know when I have a plus sign, I add. So I'm going to add 40, which is 4 more 10 sticks. 10, 20, 30, 40. So now when I add, I can count my number all together. I'm going to count the tens first from both numbers. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So I have 6 groups of 10 and 5 ones, which makes 65. It's important when you add that you count all of your 10 sticks. Great. So that is how you add using 10 sticks when you don't have cubers to help you. Now subtract, taking away. I'm going to start with my 70, and I'm going to take away 20, and I know it's take away because I'm a detective, and here's my minus sign. So I'm going to draw my 7 tens, or 70. Feel free to count along with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now I'm taking away 20. 2 tens. So ready? 10, 20. Now let's count how many I have left. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50. And I took away because of the minus sign. Alrighty, next one. Again, look at here. I have tens and ones. This one over here, I only had 10, so I have to be extra careful. So 66 minus 30 equals, let's find out. So let's draw our number first. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. Holy guacamole, I thought I counted wrong. Okay, so I have 66, and now I'm going to take away 30. So I'm going to cross them out, and I know that because of my minus sign. So 10, 20, 30. I crossed out 3 10 sticks. See ya. And that leaves me with 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 36. Or if you look really closely, if you're a really good detective, 36 is the same as 3 10s and 6 1s. Not bad. Alrighty. It's not always that easy though, let me tell you. Sometimes the equations are up and down. And I really like when the equations are up and down when you're working with tens and ones, adding and subtracting, because you can line them up nicely so you're nice and organized. They don't always do that for you. Sometimes they make the equation horizontal like this. What I like to do, and you might want to do on your follow-up work because your equations are like this, is I like to take the horizontal equation and make it vertical so that I can line it up nice and neatly. I'll show you what I mean. So 45 minus, I'm a detective. 45 plus 30 plus I'm adding. So I'm going to rewrite it just like these equations so it's up and down vertical. So 45 plus 30. Now, you see that? Yeah. Now I can draw my tens and ones nice and organized. So 45, 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45 plus 30. 10, 20, 30. Okay, now we were detectives. We add, so I'm going to count them starting with all of my tens first. Count with me, please. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. So, you can write it here. Yeah, I'll just write it there because I should have given myself a little bit more space to write it here, but I'll do that over on this one. Okay, I'm a detective. So, my final equation, again, it's one of those horizontal equations, is 87 minus 40. And since it's 87 minus 40, I know I'm going to take away or subtract. So, again, actually for this one, well, I'll do it anyways. So, 87 minus 40, and I did it again. I forgot to give myself space. So I'm going to draw 87 with tens and ones. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. And I'm a detective. I'm subtracting. So I'm not just automatically going to draw 40 more. No way. I am going to cross out 40, or 4 tens. So I'm going to count 10, 20, 30, 40. And that leaves me with 10, 20, 30, 40. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. So 87 minus 40 is 47. I'm going to get a different color because I can't seem to give myself enough space to write my answer, or my difference. 47. You see that? Yeah. So, like I said, you already have done this on iReady Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday you added, Wednesday you subtracted. So today, when you click onto the work you need to complete, it says click here for follow-up work, click there, and it's going to be equations just like these, the horizontal ones, but some are addition and some are subtraction. So you need to be a detective and make sure you solve the equation correctly. When you finish, take a picture of it and send it to your teacher. Email Class Dojo. If you have portfolios, go on portfolios. You name it. Alrighty. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you later.